67, 68, 69. Yeah. Ugh. Got to keep fresh on them stabbing skills. Essential for surviving prison. Alright, let's get started on this video. I'm legally insane. And hidden behind these adult-sized diapers, I have a whole bunch of brand new retro video game pickups. I'm still collecting retro games. I will always be collecting retro games. It's 2025 and I ain't stopping anytime soon. In fact, I already know I'm going to be long dead before I stop collecting. Because there's a lot of games that I still need. I'm trying to get over 9,000. And I will be playing these games while wearing diapers, just like I am today. 25 years from now in a retirement home, I will still be doing what I already do today. But 25 years from now, instead of wearing one diaper, I'll be wearing 2 or 3 diapers. That's really the only difference. I'll be getting a lot more frequent diaper changes, right? And I'll have a 69-year-old nurse that'll help me change those diapers. I don't have that today. Except for your mother, you know, she comes over every now and then. See her every Friday night. Back of the 7-Eleven, right behind the dumpster, buddy. Whole town knows. I'm there every Friday night. There's a lineup. There's a lineup to see that lady. She ain't got no teeth no more, you know. The lineup's only getting bigger ever since she lost her teeth. So let's find out what games I got, what I paid for each of these games, and why you might also be interested in picking up some of these games. Because I guarantee you, I'm not even exaggerating. There is at least one hidden gem back here that you never heard of in your entire life. And I have a feeling you might be interested. I was going to film on PC, but I'm having PC problems, so I'm going to be switching back and forth. But let's get started. Game number 1, Snatcher for the Sega CD, big heavy hitter. $2,000 Canadian dollar game right here. Recent sold listings. Let's just throw up the chart. I'm gonna have to throw up the chart over here. Just for those that aren't aware, this is a heavy hitter game. Price charting for over 1,000 Canadian dollars right now. That's like 800 USD. Recent sold listings going as high as $2,500 in April of 2025 for a mint condition copy. So condition plays a factor, major factor. And this is a replica from Project Retro Games. They do a lot of fan-made translations and very high-quality fan-made projects, fan-made re-releases. They release a lot of unreleased, unfinished games. Check out the website. I will have a link in the description below, but this was submitted to the show because I have always wanted to play this game, but guess what? I'm not paying $2,000 for it. You know, I just got a Sega CD like, 1 or 2 years ago. I made a video about that. I'm new to the Sega CD. And a lot of the Sega CD games are very expensive. And I refuse to emulate. I know at least a whole bunch of people are thinking, why don't you just, like new to the show people are thinking, why don't you just emulate it? Play it on PC. Buddy, I don't emulate nothing. I'd rather not play it. I'm not emulating. I'm not playing one of these games on a PC. You know, unless you're a real OG, you're just not going to get it. I'm not emulating this. Now, I will play mini consoles. And this is the closest I've ever got to playing Snatcher. Snatcher is on the mini, PC Engine Mini, TurboGrafx 16 Mini. Snatcher is on there. But for whatever reason, they didn't release the English version. It's Japanese only, which is a real shame. This thing would have sold 100 million copies if they just put English Snatcher on it. So Japanese only. This is the closest I ever got to playing Snatcher. I loaded it up. I tried to play it in Japanese, and I gave up after 3 seconds. Because it's in Japanese. I don't know what I'm doing. Right? For a story-driven game. So I know a little bit about Snatcher. Wanted to play it my entire life. And now I get to play it on OG hardware. This is an OG replica. It's got the manual. It's got the authentic case. It's got everything that you need. You know, and I'm not paying $2,000 for this game. So this is as close as I will ever get. Oh, it smells good too. Dang. Oh, that new book smell. Oh, that's good. Snatcher manual. So for those that don't know, this is a Konami game. So you know it's good right off the bat. It's a graphic adventure game. That's what they call it. Graphic adventure game / visual novel.
They appear during winter, killing humans and infiltrating society by taking the place of their victims. Employing an artificial skin, they can sweat and even bleed. Part organic, part machine, they're almost impossible to distinguish from those they kill. As they steal their victims' bodies in order to take their place, these mysterious invaders become known as Snatchers.
Now, what makes this game especially famous, besides having one of the best stories, is that it's one of the early Hideo Kojima games. One of his very early games and one of his best games on top of that. Right? Snatcher is known as one of the best, if not the best, depending on who you ask, cyberpunk adventure games ever made, / visual novels ever made. And there are like action parts of the game, gun shooter segments of the game. It's not just selecting actions and reading the story, but it really is about the story. And it's a serious story too. It's a very mature story. Yeah, you wouldn't let your kid play this one. I wouldn't let an 8-year-old play this. And what's the rating on this? Teen rating, okay, 13 plus. Okay. I mean, I'll let my 12-year-old play it.
This is your blaster, the official weapon of a junker. It's got full user feedback circuitry, adjusting itself to your reaction time. In other words, it's just as good as you are.
Thank you, Project Retro Games. Link in the description below. Check out their website, and they're also on Instagram and YouTube. I'm very much looking forward to playing that on physical, original hardware with a Sega Genesis controller in my hand. That's how Snatcher is meant to be played. And unless you've actually held a Sega Genesis controller in your hand, you have no idea what it's actually like to play a Sega Genesis. Next up, we're going to do Yakuza for the PS2. This is a game that I recently picked up. What did I pay for this? I paid $17. Great deal. Great condition, because I've been getting screwed a lot lately by one seller in particular that screwed me with condition and other games that don't even work that he sold me. Well, this one's in good condition, got a really good price considering it price charts for, I did not write it down. What is price charts for $40.76. Shockingly expensive, very slowly uptrending. So I'm new to the Yakuza series. I've actually decided that I want to get the entire series. And after going and actually looking up the prices of each of the games, I always just assumed that these were cheap games, like $5, $10 games. You know, maybe 15, 20 in 2025, 15, like $20 max Canadian. That's what I was thinking. I thought, they are common, but I didn't realize how sought after they were. These are like the Grand Theft Auto series. Like, you can print 100 million copies, but it's going to always be sought after by 100 million people. And they want the OGs. So this series, I think, is gaining more popularity every year. And people like me that initially ignored the series, I typically don't go for what I would call mainstream games or AAA titles. I kind of ignored this one. I always knew it was good. Sega game, Sega mostly releases nothing but good games for the most part. Some of their Sonic games suck. But I just ignored the series until there's one game in the entire series that I owned and played. One game. So prior to Yakuza, the OG, I only ever had the PS3 version. Yakuza Dead Souls. And yeah, I'm super glad I bought this one when I did because, the price is going up. Have you seen the chart? It's another thing I've been screaming from the hilltops for years. If there's a game that you want, especially if it's rare or sought after, you might want to consider picking it up while it's still cheap. Because the PS3 and the 360 are still cheap. To this very day right now. Even after all the price increases. Just, if you don't believe me, go look at every single console before these consoles. These are still newer retro game consoles. Very much newer consoles. Go look at how old the PS3 is, and then go look at how old the Super Nintendo is, or the NES. And then compare the prices of the rare games and the sought-after games. These are going to catch up to the Super Nintendo that you see hidden on that shelf right there. These are going to catch up at some point in time. Hey, you know what? Speaking of Sega, why don't we do the next game right here, Sonic 3. And you might be thinking, why did you purchase this? Well, for starters, I paid $5. I got it from John Bunday's mother. $5. And in case you've been sleeping under a rock for the last 30 years, you might think that this game is a $5 game. Because it used to be a $5 game. This game used to be worthless. I mean, you'd look at Sonic 1, 2, and 3, and you would think that they are all worthless. And hell, maybe Sonic 1 and 2 are. I'm pretty sure they are. Haven't looked at them myself. But Sonic 3 is not worthless. And there's a very specific reason for that. Considering I paid $5 Canadian, that's a steal of a deal. Price charting for 37.36 Canadian. What's that in USD? That is 27.49 USD.
What did he say?
That is absolutely insane. And that's loose. Although CIB is 55 USD, so not that much more for CIB, complete in box. 75 Canadian CIB for Sonic 3. But I don't care for the CIB. I don't want Sega Genesis games CIB. I don't want most of them CIB. Some of them I do, because I want the manuals. If I want the manual, I'll get the game CIB. That's basically how it works. But the reason why this one costs so much is because this version of Sonic 3 has the original music, which was composed by Michael Jackson. They don't have the rights to that anymore. They stopped putting Sonic 3 on those Sega compilation games, like for the Nintendo Switch and stuff. They don't put Sonic 3 on there because they don't have the rights to Michael Jackson's music. That is my understanding, and that is the only thing that makes logical sense as to why Sonic 3 is not on there. They don't have the rights to it, so that's why this particular version is very sought after, and the original soundtrack is what makes the game so good. I mean, Sonic has always been known for having great music. It's like, imagine playing Final Fantasy III for the Super Nintendo. Imagine playing it, you pop it in, and they change the soundtrack from Nobuo Uematsu to some no-name guy. Like, you can't change the music. The music is what makes Final Fantasy III for the Super Nintendo, Final Fantasy VI. The music is what makes it such an incredible game. You can't change the music. You can't do that. It's not the same game. You literally can't do that. Like, no one would play it and the game would automatically suck. Ooh, alright guys. Whew, hidden gem time. Alcahest, hopefully I'm saying that right. Another game from Project Retro Games. You can still order this right now. A lot of their games sell out, by the way. It's for the diehard collectors that are buying these games. They're made for us. They're made by the fans. Carlos, who runs Project Retro Games, he makes them for the fans who want to play the games on original hardware with physical media. We don't want ROMs. We don't want to play on PC. I want to have a cart in my hand, a Super Nintendo cartridge. I want to pick up a cartridge in my hand and put it into my console on a TV with a Super Nintendo controller in my hand. That's what I want to do. And by the way, it just so happens I picked up Brainlord because Brainlord is somewhat similar to Alcahest, visually at least. This is a top-down action RPG. So I know a little bit about it because I looked it up. Now, it's not two-player, unfortunately, because it plays similar to Illusion of Gaia and also Magic Sword. So it's often compared to Magic Sword because in Magic Sword, you get a computer ally and you have several options, right? You rescue prisoners and you can switch up your ally by rescuing different prisoners. And when you attack in Magic Sword, your ally, the AI, automatically attacks as well. So for example, if you rescue the ninja, he'll throw ninja stars. Well, in this game, it's no different. You get up to 5 different allies, and each of them has a different attack that just helps you automatically. So when you attack, they attack. It's that simple. You also get magic spells in this game. It's a little bit like Mega Man. I was reading that if you kill a boss, you obtain their power. I guess you get new spells based on the boss that you killed. There's a password system involved. It's not a long game, which is great. Squaresoft game. Squaresoft. Shockingly, I know, but it was never ported to the West. So we never got this game, but we would have loved to have this game. It was a shame because there were so many good games released in the 90s that only ever got to make it to Japan. They never brought them over. It was insane. Like, looking back on it now, they thought that we didn't want RPGs as much as we actually did, especially Sega. That's where Sega really messed up. You know, they barely ported over any RPGs. That was where Sega really messed up. And by the time they realized it, it was too late. Nintendo didn't mess up on that. They knew we wanted RPGs over here. They knew the West was ready for RPGs. They ported over a ton of RPGs. But even with the ones that they did, it wasn't enough. We wanted more RPGs. We want more. Action RPGs especially. Like, sure, we got all the Final Fantasies, Breath of Fire, Secret of Evermore. Well, Secret of Evermore was action RPG, yeah. But, we got the Breath of Fires and the Final Fantasies and a couple other random ones, but those were your main ones for your turn-based JRPGs. But we wanted more stuff like Zelda, Secret of Evermore, Secret of Mana. You could have ported over 1 million more of those. The West was ready for those, man. The West was ready. So I'm looking forward to this one. We're going to open up this one right now. Gonna open this live on camera if I can manage to get it open without damaging it. Yeah, I haven't opened up one of these games since like Christmas of 1994. Donkey Kong Country would have been the last brand new. I'm not even exaggerating either. I literally think the very last brand new game that I opened was Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo. Brand new Super Nintendo game that I opened. So this is like Christmas morning to me, buddy. And that's another thing that these kids, they don't understand these days. Opening a Switch game isn't the same as opening a boxed game like this, or a Sega Genesis game. Pretty high quality box. Man, an action RPG with real-time battles. Squaresoft, that's so incredible. Oh yeah, there was a really cool thing that I didn't quite understand. It says, this game can be played with or without a Super NES multiplayer adapter accessory. Well, if it's not even multiplayer, what are you talking about? Why is that even on there? Very strange. I don't understand that. Oh, crap. See, I damaged the box a little bit already trying to get it open. What side are you supposed to open it from? I just tried to open it there. Really hard to open without bending the cardboard, but I guess I have no choice. Oh, dang it. Yeah, I screwed up, guys. Oh well. Probably should have opened it from the other side. Too late now. Look at this. This looks like a poster. This has got to be a poster. Wow, this is definitely a poster. I'm not going to open it all the way. Or maybe I am. You get the idea. I don't want to damage that. Booklet. With buttons. Telling you the buttons. X uses magic. Y defends, so you can defend. Use A button is use Guardian special ability. That's like your Mega Man abilities. B is attack with your sword. They even replicate the original inserts. That's insane. How is that even possible? I remember these inserts. These are Nintendo Power inserts, are they not? They replicated this. Oh, that's really cool. Man, that's cool. Worth every penny to a hardcore fan, at least. Hardcore Super Nintendo fan. Squaresoft, you know, the labels are smooth, have that same glossy feel like the originals would. Alright, here's a funny one. So I bought Sneak King. This is that Burger King game from what, the mid-2000s, something like that. I've never owned it before. I got it because it was sealed for starters. But remember that seller I was telling you about earlier? Or at least in my previous videos, the guy that screwed me on a whole bunch of games? Well, this is one of the games. I don't remember if he mentioned the tear, but if he did, I had no idea that the tear was as big as it is. Giant tear there. Giant tear over there, which, you know, it's Sneak King. It's like, it's not that big of a deal. Especially if he said it was teared. I don't know if he did, though. I don't remember, because he screwed me so many times. But I'm going to open it anyway. I'm going to buy it for the case value of having a brand new mint condition case. Everything else looks to be in good condition. Plus, I always wanted to play it. I know it's a bad game. I know it's a bad game. But of the Sneak King or the Burger King games, this was known to be the best one. So you could actually get some fun out of this one. They were always cheap. Like, what were they, $5 back in the day? Brand new, straight from Burger King. Best marketing campaign they ever had. Like, this was pure genius. And I know people that literally went to Burger King multiple times to buy all of these games. So it's just a marketing campaign. That's all it was. And good on them. And the fact that they made this game as good as it is with probably the insanely low budget that they had, you got to give them credit. It's just for jokes. It was never meant to be anything more than just jokes. Oh yeah, this one does play on your OG Xbox as well. It's a 2-in-1 disc. You can play it on OG. Speaking of Xbox 360, I also got Facebreaker. Now I forget what I paid, but you know, it would have been like maybe like $5. Pretty good condition. And this is a game, I think that this was a discount bin game, because I remember back in the day, I eyed this game 100 times at EB Games. I literally looked at it 100 times. I remember it being brand new and cheap. So it was probably a $20, 20 Canadian dollar game brand new. I mean, maybe $30, but I think it was like $20, maybe even 15. It was definitely a cheap game. And I remember it looks fun. It's a boxing game. It's a boxing game. And in fact, this is the spiritual successor, the unofficial sequel to the Ready to Rumble series. Like, for whatever reason, they stopped making Ready to Rumble games. And I think Facebreaker tried to take over that market.
Hit the Y button. Boom! Leave him in the air for a second. Give me something to drink. When you come back down, step on him, look at the crowd and ask him, should I do it? And the crowd will say, do it. Just and break his whole face and leave him looking different.
you know, I never really heard anybody talking about this game, but it looks really fun, and I've always wanted to play it. It's a party game to me, and I'm just looking forward to trying it. Now, will it be better than Ready to Rumble? I highly doubt it. Ready to Rumble is one of the best, if not the best, boxing game ever made. And if you haven't played it, then you have not lived. And I'm not talking single player. Like, I would never play this single player. I could care less about single player. I'm talking Ready to Rumble, one-on-one battles, pass the controller party game. Because anybody can pick up and play Ready to Rumble. Now, I'll give you a secret, though. I have it on Dreamcast and the N64. Dreamcast is best. But if you want to win, pick Jimmy Blood and hit the A button. Non-stop A button. Non-stop. Even if your opponent starts pummeling you, just keep hitting the A button, you will win. I know that for a fact because I was undefeated with Jimmy Blood. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I kid you not, this is a true story. My friend kicked me out of his house one night. I was pummeling him to death non-stop with Jimmy Blood. All night. He tried every character in the book to try to beat me. Nobody could beat me, and I hit one button only. I found the cheapest move in the game, and I would take damage. It's not like I'm not getting hit. I'm getting hit, but while I'm getting hit, you're getting hit. And your health bar is going to go to 0 before my health bar. And finally, the very last match, he was really pissed off. The very last match, he chose Jimmy Blood. He realized, okay, this character must be rigged. He chooses Jimmy Blood. I start sweating because he knows the strategy to hit the A button because I've been doing it all night. And you just start punching, right? He just throws a punch. That's it. Well, I kid you not, it was an even match. Both our health bars were dropping at what looked like simultaneously in sync. It just so happens that I won by a sliver. I got the last punch. We were both dead in one hit, and he kicked me out of the house. He threw me out. I didn't talk to him for like a couple weeks after that. Like, he was really angry. But, it was a whole bunch of events that led up to that moment, and that was the final straw. So speaking of Xbox 360, once again, I picked up Wolverine, X-Men Origins Wolverine Uncaged Edition, but I really messed up on this one. I got trigger happy with the bidding. If you're a diehard collector, you'll know. I panic bid. I wasn't paying attention to what I bid on. I saw Wolverine. I saw a cheap price. I bid $40. I wasn't paying attention to the fact that the seller said this was a damaged game. It is severely water damaged. Very, very severe damage. And the top is like all dirty. It's a disgusting copy. It's dirty as hell. Now, $40 Canadian ain't bad. I mean, I'll throw up the chart. It's not a bad price. Like, what's it go for? Let's have a look. Okay, so it goes for $70 CIB, $54.73 loose disc. So it's still a good deal considering the disc is in good condition. No cracking. I don't think, no, there is cracking. Yeah, I got screwed on that. A little bit. I've had Game Stars tell me that's no good. What do you guys think? It's got a crack in it. Like, I can throw a ring on that, a repair ring. Yeah, that's not good. So I definitely got screwed on that. I got no one to blame but myself. I just got overly excited because I do think that this game will go back up over $100 again. Now, on the chart, you'll see it dipped up and hit a peak of, what is that? 91.25 roughly US dollars, which is like $10 million Canadian. But that was during the release of the Deadpool movie. So this game, through pure hype, it had one of those parabolic moves, and pretty much every single parabolic move will always come back down. Don't fall for parabolic moves, but when they come back down, they basically never go back to the price that they started. They reach a new high, or a new low, a higher low. So this one does look like it's bottoming out around $50 US. I think that would be pretty safe to say that might be the new standard price, and that would be a pretty good price for what you're getting. One of the best games on the 360 and the PS3. Unfortunately, my copy is complete trash. If you haven't played X-Men Origins Wolverine, it's the first time that they made a really good Wolverine game. The Wolverine's Revenge was the one prior to this one. That was like, it was an okay game, but it's kind of like the Transformers games. They hadn't really figured out how to make a really good Wolverine game until they made this game. And it's a movie title game, so you know it was ignored by a lot of people back in the day. Everybody knows it's good now, but back then a lot of people would have written this one off. The movie wasn't even that popular. Okay, here's an interesting game. I picked up... Oh, now let's start with this one. Persona 3 FES. Fez Edition? I don't know what that stands for. I did get a really good deal on it. And funny, so I got this one a while ago because I do have a backlog of like 500 games. I probably got it like a year ago. It might have even been a year ago. What did I pay? I paid 15 Canadian dollars, but at present it's selling for 57.23 Canadian CIB. But at the time, you know, I feel like when I bought it, it wasn't worth 50 bucks CIB. I don't think it was. I bid on it in private auction group. I got it for 15. A good condition. Disc is in good condition. Everything's good. I didn't get screwed. It has the manual. Everything's good. But I bought it originally. I was thinking I would just flip it, because I've never played a Persona game. And I never previously had any interest in the Persona series until recently. Persona 4 Gold Edition or Golden Edition. So many people were talking about that game that I know personally. I even know like non-gamers or non-hardcore gamers at least that fell in love with that game and were talking that game up as the best game ever made. So that I started getting the wheels started spinning, and I started thinking, wait a minute, you know, there must be something to this game. So I eventually ordered it. I got a copy of it from VGP when they did the restocks for the Nintendo Switch version. So I have that version in the mail right now. Actually, it's going to show up at any moment. And I'm actually excited to play that one because based on what I've heard, it sounds like it is quite literally one of the best games ever made. So this game I was originally going to flip, and I think that they also released this same version on the Switch, so I don't really have necessarily any reason to keep it. But the reason I haven't sold it yet is because I'm thinking about getting into the series now. I'm going to play Persona 4 Golden Edition, and I'm going to hold off on selling this until after I beat that game, because I might want to keep this game. I don't know yet. But also the chart, I mean, if you look at the chart, it continues to rise. It's slowly and steadily rising. So I really don't necessarily have the incentive to want to sell this yet, even with the Nintendo Switch version and the PSP version of this game. This is still going up in value. So it might be one of those things where the collectors want the OG, even if there's an alternative out there. So I'm going to hold on to it. I'll see what it does over the next 12 months. And I'll wait until I beat Persona 4, and I'll decide, you know, maybe I do want to keep it, and maybe I want to beat it. And maybe I want to get into this franchise. Maybe after playing Persona 4, I will want to collect all of the Personas. I don't know yet, because I've never played them. I just heard that Persona 4 in particular is really that good. Now, will it be better than 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim? I will be the judge of that, but I highly doubt it. Okay, next up we got NBA In the Zone 2000. I paid $10 for this. Pretty good deal considering it's in great condition. PS1. Yes, I'm still collecting PS1 games. Now, I don't particularly go for sports games, but I do go for Konami sports games, even though some of them suck. But I am basically collecting every single Konami sports game, because these are actually sports games that I like to play. Now, I do have a little bit of experience with NBA in general. Ooh, Blades of Steel 2000. I need to get that as well. That's very interesting that it has that advertisement there. And I'm hoping that they fixed the flaws from Blades of Steel 99. And that was a PS1 exclusive as well, by the way. So, so I have experience playing NBA Live 99. My brother was really big into the NBA basketball games. He had NBA Live 99. It was the first one he got. Beyond that, I don't remember, but maybe he got NBA Live 2000 if they continued the series. I don't know, but I definitely played the hell out of NBA Live 99. Even I got into that one, and I don't even like basketball games. But I got into that one because I remember that game, and I think it was the very first basketball game, to have the Vancouver Grizzlies. So probably they had just come out. That team didn't last long. Old basketball team, if you don't remember them. Vancouver had a basketball team. It was the Vancouver Grizzlies. And I remember picking them, and they sucked. They were like the worst team in the entire league. That's probably why they don't exist anymore. They didn't get any wins. There is no way that they ever won a game. There's just no way. They were 0-69 the entire series, the entire season. But yeah, I would pick the Vancouver Grizzlies just because, that was the new awesome team. They had the best logo and the best team name. They just happen to have garbage players on the team. That's all. But that's why I liked playing it. I don't know. I just really liked that. That kind of got me into basketball a little bit at the time when they came out with Vancouver Grizzlies. I didn't care so much for the Raptors. Everyone was all gung-ho about Toronto Raptors. The Toronto team was still decently new, I guess, compared to other teams in the NBA. But Vancouver, I really liked that logo. And I liked their center player. I forget the guy's name. He, big, tall guy. I want to say last name Reese. Don't quote me on that. But I remember that's the only player that I remember actually liking on that entire team. And he still sucked. He still sucked. He was like their version of Shaq, right? They had somebody that was as close to Shaq as the worst team in the league could afford. That was their center guy. Okay, speaking of Konami sports games, here's the last game. NHL Blades of Steel 99. Now, this game is known for not being very good, but here's the thing. It is good because it has RPG elements. This is the thing you people don't get. When people rate this game, and I've watched a couple of reviews on this game, and not one single person mentioned the RPG elements. Not one. So much so that I was second guessing my own memory of playing this game. But I looked it up on ChatGPT to verify. I am not incorrect. I did play this game. It was this exact game. Now, when I watched the reviews, people complain about the hockey aspect of the game. The hockey isn't very balanced. It's a little bit slow. They should have made an arcade hockey game, considering it's Konami. They didn't. They tried to make a serious competitor to the EA NHL series, and that's where they messed up. You can't compete with Electronic Arts NHL. They should have known that from the start. They should have made Wayne Gretzky's hockey. Remove the name Wayne Gretzky's hockey, throw on Blades of Steel, and it would have sold 100 million more copies than Wayne Gretzky's hockey even sold. And that game sold pretty good. It was a pretty good game. But that's what Blades of Steel should have been. And it wasn't, and it's a real shame. They could have focused on the fighting. Imagine an arcade Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey type of game, Blades of Steel. Maybe 5 guys on the ice. More ice, more players on the field, but with a better focus on the fighting. That was famous in Blades of Steel. Everybody loved to get into fights. You're playing your buddy, you would purposely get into fights because it was fun. That's all they had to do to make the best hockey game on the entire console. They would have still been making Blades of Steel games to this very day. Instead, we got a garbage game. There was a funny review on GameFAQ. I'll have to throw up an image of it, but basically the guy's doing a review on there's a whole bunch of bad reviews on GameFAQ. 3 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 1 out of 10. So nobody liked this game. The 1 out of 10 guy says, after thinking about it for a while, I am really stunned at how bad this game is. For hockey fans only. See, that's where you guys mess up. Before I even read that review, these guys, none of these reviewers talk about the RPG elements. The RPG elements come in via the season. Season only. It's not 2-player. It's not single exhibition match. Season. In between every game, you train your team. You are coaching your team. And you train them on what you want them to improve on. Goaltending, speed, accuracy, shooting, stamina. I don't remember what they are. Let me pull them up. Here it is. Speed. Players skate faster. Shooting. Increases shot power and accuracy. So you choose between every single match, every single game. You choose what you are going to help your team grow on. This is not individual players. You are upgrading your entire team. You're thinking, oh, I need to be faster. Maybe that's why people are complaining you skate so slow. Well, how about you train your speed, you retard? You ever think about updating your speed? You play in the season mode, you increase your player speed. You don't like how fast your players are going? Put all your training into speed. Now you're going real fast. Checking. Improve physical play and hit effectiveness. Stamina. Players tire out more slowly. Hey, maybe that's why you're going so slow in the game. Maybe your player stamina is pretty low. And goaltending boosts your goalie's performance. So if you're getting scored on a lot, maybe you need better goaltending. Now, the game does suffer from balancing issues. Offense being the most important thing in the game, defense doesn't really matter. That's an unfortunate flaw, but you're never going to find an RPG hockey game other than this game right here. This is the only one that I know about that's like real hockey with real NHL teams right here. But this guy with the reviews makes a couple of funny comments. I laughed at the story. He says story when rating the story. The story is a very twisted tale about how Yerme Yager must go through a series of levels to discover the secret of the magic blades of steel. Of course, this is not the story, you idiot. I'm just screwing with you, because I actually believed him. When I read that review, I said, man, I don't remember there being a story in the season mode. I was thinking, man, did I miss something? Yerme Yager's on a quest to find the elusive and ever magical blades of steel? I don't remember this. This sounds incredible. And then, of course, I read the latter half of that, and I got a good laugh. So he got me pretty good on that one. It is uptrending in price. Don't ask me why. Maybe there's people out there that have fond memories of it. So I never owned the game, by the way. My friend rented it, and I was very jealous. Or he owned it. He might have bought it. But I would watch him play. I think we must have played on 2-player at least a couple of times. But I remember watching him play and watching him coach his team with those RPG elements, and I wanted to own the game so frickin' bad. And now I own Blades of Steel 99, and I would like to get Blades of Steel 2000. Once again, shout out to Project Retro Games for supplying the show with these incredible fan-made reproductions. Alcahest, I will beat this game, especially knowing that it's a short game and it's a Squaresoft game. You guys know anything Squaresoft is automatically good. Even Final Fantasy Mystic Quest was a great game. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm trying to get to over 9,000 subscribers, on my way to collecting over 9,000 retro games. And by the way, I do have a Patreon. I post exclusive content. I posted an exclusive video just last week. Check that one out. Join the Patreon. Shout out to all my Patreon supporters. It means a lot. Your support keeps the channel going. All the people that write comments every week. And all the people that smash the like button, all the people that tune in and actually watch the channel, you guys keep the channel going. If you want to see more content, let me know in the comments what specific content you want me to make. You know, I'm always looking for constructive feedback. I take note of all the comments, the good and the bad. I take note of all the comments, and I'm always trying to improve the channel.